There we go. Sorry about that. We are at our to do this. We got our locals happening right after this game, so see how this goes. Should be fun. So we've got one of our challengers coming up here. Ooh, let's quit. Okay. Let's try that. Hello, hello. All right, I think those will be the settings. So we've got Matze51 coming in against DaveC. Sorry about that. We're getting connected to Wi-Fi here and everything too. But we've got Matze coming in with the first Vault Master Alliance we've seen in this tournament. This is going to be a VM24, and lots of cool things going on in here. Double subject Kirby surveys, some extra pips, lots of draw pips. But the main thing you'll notice is double autocannon and then a bad penny with an amber and a draw pip. So this is a automatic rule of 6 as long as those autocannons are down for 6 amber and 6 draws. Pretty nasty. I mean, the deck is doing plenty outside of that. It might be a little low on the creature control. We'll see how that goes against Dave's massive line of Star Alliance and logos, but that's the main thing this deck seems to have going on. It's got the double drummer knot with the gauntlets, but no Ganger Chieftain or anything like that. Plenty of steel going on in shadows with the too much protect and everything, but all in all, pretty interesting deck, but it seems like it's mainly built to just do bad penny things. So it will be really fun to see that, but could be interesting to see how it can deal with 30 30, not 30, but just super high key cost with the 5 eddies still being down. Speaking of eddies, let's go ahead and take a look at Dave's deck here. So if you remember from round 1, we've got the Caruso and Hydra Veil are kind of two very well-known decks of Dave's, even in Archon, and now we've got them in an alliance here together, which is terrifying, along with double punctuated equilibrium. So this deck has a lot of different ways it can attack you. The 5 eddies are obviously the most obvious thing, along with the Neutron Shark for some artifact control, but the triple stealth mode is really the bread and butter of this. It's trying to get into a loop where the Kirby's are able to cycle the deck along with the Helmsman Spears and the punctuated equilibriums and just play stealth mode basically every turn. Entirely different Orion cam layout. It is close to the same. We're just in a very different location. We are at our local game store right now, and we're going to play some IRL Keyforge after this game. So just got set up, and we're going to do the best we can with this and hope my battery doesn't run out. Taking a look at this matchup really quick. Again, we've got some disruption too with the recklessnesses there. Lots of ping damage for creature control. No true board wipes on Matze's side could be an issue because we've seen the Star Alliance board and the Logos board can just get so big so fast. So I think this will be an uphill battle for Matze. I don't think this is the main matchup he was looking for, but you know, anything could happen. So let's get ahead and get over to the game. No. 3-hour battery life? I hope I don't need that much. Yeah, no recursion for Matze either, but there's not really any... Oh, I guess if the punctuated equilibrium hits the bad penny, yeah, that could be really rough. Love this rough thing, by the way. Alright, so let's see if they've got our match going yet. Who's gonna make the game? Sorry, this is gonna be an interesting journey for me. Also doing this on one screen instead of two, but should work out. Let's see who's gonna make the match. I don't think I missed it. while we're waiting for them to set up, we can head back and look at this matchup a little bit more. The one thing with Dave's deck is if it is going more the Logos route, it can reap for a lot of Amber, but if you're just doing that, you know, the Shadows has a lot of steel, and these Kirby's will be really interesting to see if they can actually flood the board before Dave gets set up, especially with those Gauntlet to commands too. The Brobnar can do some cleanup. The trick is, and this will be interesting to see what Mate does, if he plays both of the autocannons or just kind of plays one, holds the other in case it gets blown up. Dave also has the Tachyon Pulse, which is going to destroy any artifacts as well, including those gauntlets. So yeah, this could be a tough one, but we'll see. This deck now for Dave is also very recently a Ascended Alliance for him. I think it's all three the pods. I'm just trying to remember if the Untamed was different or not, but this should be all three. But definitely the Caruso and Hydra Veil parts, he qualified and won the Alliance at Vault Tour Roseville just a couple weeks ago. So pretty soon these decks won't be legal, but our tournament doesn't care about that yet. We want the best of the best. We know we got it here. Okay, we've got the game up now. Oops, I'm not playing. Go, and there's Matze. And I'm going to switch who's top and bottom. Okay, just waiting on the players to get their decks loaded up here, and we'll be ready to go for game one. And in between games, I may look for. I was just informed Dave might not have this loaded on his TCO, so. Oh, no, he didn't make this an alliance match. Never mind. Gotcha. We have not needed the timer for most of these, so that might be overkill, but didn't change the password on me, which is good, and I need to get a thing set up for logs. Okay, we are finally ready to go. We've got Dave on the bottom here. Looks like he's got first turn. Does a mulligan. No mulligan for Matze though, so we'll see. As we said, the no recursion could be really interesting with those punctuated equilibriums, but Matze also has the double recklessness, so he's kind of expecting to have that happen a lot too. and does have some tools for getting cycled back to it, especially with this Future Booster too, which is a cool card from Winds of Exchange that you don't get to see very often because Winds of Exchange isn't played very often. Very big Star Alliance turn here though. Lots of creatures coming down. Bramo doing some damage to that Eddy. And then that subject Kirby going to be able to just keep getting stuff down. We'll see if Dave tries to kill it here or just keeps pumping out the logos. For you in the chat, I can kind of see it, but it is a little bit covered up by my TCO screen, so we'll see how this goes. Dave going into Star Alliance here. It's going to be a little bit of a Star Alliance off, but we do see the Nature's Call. Going to bounce a couple things to hand, getting his own Kirby back, so we're going to see another action cheated in here. Unsuspecting Prey will be able to take out the Kirby, do some damage to the Bramo. Matze undeterred, going to go right back into Star Alliance. Very quick call here. Future Booster going to start looking at what's on top of the deck. As will Survey. Get a Vandalize discarded there, and we did get one of the gauntlets discarded by this discard pip on the Bramo earlier. I missed that. Rest of these guys coming down, we do see the second Kirby already. Pretty big for getting to grow that board, and there's the bad penny, but we don't have any of the auto cannons down yet. Dave also going right back into a fast Star Alliance turn here. We do see the stealth mode. Matze's deck pretty creature and artifact heavy, so those stealth modes aren't going to do near as much as they do to some of the decks we've seen. Igor coming down off of the CXO Tabor. Dave not happy with what he's seeing there. Wants to keep all three most likely, but we'll see what he ends up going with. Or at least discarding. Ooh, punctuated and a Kirby. Yeah, that seems really good for Matze to see those go. But there's always a chance there's a second punk in hand here. And there it is. Opts to fight off the subject Kirby there and then punk instead of the bad penny. But we do see the Helmsman Spears come down. We'll see if he finds some wards for it. Otherwise, this Pyro is going to be able to clean up really well. Yeah, it looks like both punks were in the Igor and then some other Untamed cards. So very happy to see those go, I'm sure, for Dave. But doesn't love to see both of those so early and not being able to play both. Huge Star Alliance board coming down, though. Yeah, keeping the penny on the board protects it a little bit, but again, there was the chance to just bounce it by killing it into the hand and then punking it away, so he would have to cycle through the whole deck to get it back. But that subject Kirby, pretty scary here just for being able to keep flooding the board, because it's probably going to be... Oh, it's not a Star Alliance turn. It is going to be Brobnar. No true board clears in Brobnar, so this is just going to be a fight from Bramo, and that might be the only stuff we see killed. There's a Brick Nasty. I guess the Drummer Knot can replay the Bramo for another kill on the Helmsman Spears and Walls, which is pretty unfortunate. Definitely wanted to see that Spears survive here. Double Amber Pip, Auto Cannon coming down. We do still have the Kirby alive, or the Eddy alive with one Archives. Good chance we see a lot more logos happening here now. One of those gauntlets coming down as well. Nope, going back into Star Alliance. We do still have the Tabor, so that can get you more logos on the board if you need to. Second stealth mode being played here. At this point, I mean, it's blocking the Recklessnesses from being played. I don't know if you actually want to see those get played at this point, although it does just give Matze more... that is a good question. Play effects should still happen. For 1 power creatures. I believe play effect should still happen. I can double check that. Yeah, same timing window. Yeah, it should be. So if it's a damage pip like on the rad penny that kills it, that pip would happen before the play effect happens. But since autocannon is after a creature is played, deal 1 to it, that should be the same window. I don't know if we have a judge hanging around at the moment. Captain Gale says it's the same timing window as well. Yeah, I mean, that's... If we want to wait, I can try to pull it up here. Sorry, y'all. We're taking a quick detour to look at the timing chart, which I should know by heart by now, but just want to really make sure I've got this right. So step 3 is resolve play effects, after play, and after enters play. So those are all in the same timing window. I believe it's just pips. Like if a damage pip kills it is the only thing that can kind of get around that, unless there's something else where they enter play with a damage. And because of that, we are going to see the shark coming down, blowing up the autocannon. And the Igor discarding a Murmuk, so it gets to keep going, but what becomes highest priority here will be interesting. Drummernaut and the Eddy. So is going to remove the taxing on this turn. Gets rid of the Drummernaut though, so going to slow down the Bramo bouncing. Shark getting some good discards here, but Dave does opt to kill off the Shark after that to make sure it doesn't keep killing his Star Alliance, which he wants to keep alive here. The Medic Ingram coming down, warding that Kirby. Matze taking the first key, though, here. Still has 2 Amber. Again, the Eddy going down means no tax on that. Would have been for 7. We see a Shadow's turn. The Shadow has lots of steel, so we'll see if he can stop the key here. But also just lots of creatures. Bad Penny does bounce itself, get that Amber and draw, but not going to be able to keep going with that unless he's also got some, like the Nerve Blaster hit and run. But it looks like just a lot of creatures here. Opts not to play the... Oh, can't play the hit and run because of the stealth mode. The Javen is also really cool synergy with that Bad Penny, being able to steal 1, return it to hand, and replay it. Dave just going with the same game plan here of stealth mode, Star Alliance. Does get a Tau Tau Vapors here, and again has the CXO Tabor, which can play basically anything out of house, and then the Kirby going to be able to play an action. Building up the archives. Does play an Eddy here, so going to get more archives going. Medic Ingram. Warding the Tabor. So Matze hoping he doesn't redraw any stealth modes. Dave not quite reshuffling the deck here. So we basically know all 3 stealth modes are in discard. We'll see if he has another way to draw on his next turn to find it back. This could be a really big turn for Matze, though. This Shadows board reaping. Ooh, chooses to go for Star Alliance. Very interesting. Red alert would be nice. Sadly, Dave's deck does not have a red alert. At this point, that other unsuspecting prey would be pretty nice. Finding the shark again is usually the thing, or just you start to get to be able to fight with some of the Star Alliance once you start getting the wards going. But a Kirkar makes it a little bit tough. Do have a force field and the pyro on the Explo Rover is going to take out a lot of the Star Alliance. This does give Dave a window to kill some of the shadows, though, if he's got the right cards in hand. We've also got the 3 in archives. No board wipes total, really, for Dave's deck here. It's kind of all in on the creatures, but it does have a lot of creatures and can get the wards going pretty hard. We do see a Logos turn here, though, so just going to really start up in the draw the archives here with a 3 Eddy is going to be down now. Just really needs to cycle and start getting back to some of that disruption, and that neutron shark will be pretty big. Taking some time to decide on this archives here. Oh, on the fight. So it does choose to fight that Explo Rover before it gets warded or keeps doing splash damage, and plays the 4th Eddy here. This will be a full redraw for Dave, plus, well, +1 from the daughter. Choosing to just have more creatures on the board versus getting the 1 more extra from the Zenzi. Yeah, casual plus 15 key cost. But we're going to start seeing bad penny things here. So we do have the Nerve Blast to kill it and steal 1. Both of these J Vindas will be able to kill it and steal 1, and then every time it's replayed, it's going to get an Amber and a draw. So lots of cool synergy here with that. Oh, sorry, the Nerve Blast hitting one of the Eddies, and then the bad penny fighting that Eddy off. Which does put the Zenzi in the middle. Subtle Chain going to discard a Nature's Call. That's a pretty rough one. That's some soft creature control Dave can use. Dave would like to kindly ask that that never happens again. And there go the J Vindas, going to start killing it and stealing 1 every time they do. Oh, the second Subtle Chain hitting a Kirby. Yikes. Yeah, that is pretty brutal here for Dave. Javinda not having any more Amber to steal there, but is able to bounce the bad penny 1 more time. And the way this works, this is actually really crazy because Matze was at the end of the deck. He's able to redraw into that Subtle Chain every time with the bad penny. So lots more synergy here than we thought, but also maybe just fortunate being right at the end of the deck there, being able to combo like that. And we know that's going to be the next draw here as well. So that last Subtle Chain discarding the walls. Matze just future boosting for fun here. We do still have the 2 eddies on board, 3 in archives, so even though Matze's got a lot of amber, tons of it's going to get taxed by this Logos just passively. Dave can do a different turn, different house turn if he wants, but we'll see what he has. Does go Star Alliance despite losing the Kirby and the walls. Tabor's gonna reap. We do get a Harmonia for some nice burst here. There's a stealth mode, so no more subtle chain this turn at least, and Garcia's gonna come down and do more taxing. That is it though, so that Shadows line stays intact. Matze instead going into Brobner here, getting the double auto cannons down. So very interesting, choosing to just not care about, well, I guess we said the play effects happened, so you can still play the subject Kirby's, and you'll get the play effect, and then they'll die from the 2 autocannons. Some fighting here happening, the Brick Nasty getting a little bit more burst, taking out those eddies. That is 3 eddies in the discard now too, along with that Garcia. That's a lot of the taxing capability. Does discard the Recklessness though. Gets up to 9. Now we'll see what Dave can do here, but this looks like a pretty rough spot. Do see the Star Alliance call. There's the Tabor. Okay, Tabor gets an eddy down, which will tax it up to 10, which means we're stopping the key for 1 more turn here at least. Also getting the burst because of the Harmonia, getting up to 6. There's a stealth mode. That is number 2 of this cycle. Cloaking dongle on the Zenzi. See if he goes for a punk here. I wonder if he's going to try and do... Let's see what we've got. Should be a lot of Untamed in hand at this point. Could have the second Kirby. If you only have 1 more creature here, though, you're maybe thinking about whether you play it or keep the Zenzi in the center. Does discard the Metagingram. Okay, so it just could have had a chance to ward there, but instead just goes for the bigger draw. Going up to 9 cards because of the daughter as well. But this check probably not going to last. I guess you only have the 2 J Vindas, but we haven't seen like the too much to protect and stuff. I guess with the redraw, there could be almost anything in hand. But here goes the Bad Penny bouncing. Can't actually do... Well, yeah, you can combo... You can kill it the first time with the J Vinda here, but the second J Vinda just going to take out the Eddy. Because now if you play the Bad Penny, it just bounces because of the auto cannons. Which means we will see a rule of 6 on the Bad Penny here. Drawing 6 cards, gaining a bunch of amber. I'll probably see basically almost the rest of the Shadows cards getting played. Do we miss that lucky dice, or is that discarded? No, it was used at the end of Matze's last turn. There's only 1 Eddy left for Dave here, so I don't know that he's got any options to stop this key. Could probably kill a lot of the board if he's found like the shark or something at this point. But does not get that key. His other option is kind of the Untamed Hail Mary, but without the Nature's Call, that could be really tough. With this Harmonia, you could actually make a ton of amber here. Just bouncing your own creatures with Nature's Call, punk into more creatures, and then the key charge, but that's only going to get you one. You'd have to be able to draw through into the key charge again after playing it. We do see the Untamed Call here, so we'll see if he can pull that off. It would be very impressive, but sometimes you just got to go for it. Second Harmonia means lots of amber here. Does die to the autocannons though, so not as much amber as it could have been. There's a Roxador, possibly one of the most disappointing rares in the game. Song of the Wild, you get more amber here. Wild Spirit is more amber. There's the Unsuspecting Prey to finally kill off these J Vindas that have been kind of a nightmare. That is a play here, Captain Gale, but I'm not sure it's doable. We do see the first key charge here off of the punctuated equilibrium, drawing back into a hand of 8 because of the Zenzi. We should have the second punk in hand now because I don't think it was in the discard. However, your key charge is now in the discard, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. If you played the Roxador on the other side, oh, you still drew through because of the daughter. I don't know if there was any way to not draw through there. You could have killed the daughter with the unnatural selection. Yep, here's the Nature's Call. GG. So unfortunately not quite able to close it out there. So the first game going to Matze. Again, we had the unfortunate Igor hits for Dave, but Matze's deck growing the board real fast, I think was a lot of pressure on Dave to kind of find the right stuff. And we will go on to game 2 here. Thank you, Matze, for the reminder. I almost missed that because I was thinking too much about other stuff. There we go. Oh, I might have just pasted it 3 times because my computer's laggy. And I might see. While Dave is thinking who's going first, I might see if I can find the power outlet here. Okay, we're back. We've got power, which means we can do this all day. So Dave goes for first hand just to see more cards there. Does get the Eddie down, very similar to last game, archiving, and we'll see what he can do. Matze did mulligan here, going down to 5, so could be a little bit clunkier start for Matze compared to last game. It's a vandalized though, so it's one of the stealth modes. That was a very quick pick. just out of spite, probably more than anything. Again, Matze's deck not super action heavy, so I kind of wonder if that's actually the better call. Does find the bad penny right away though, with the hit and run and the lucky dice coming down. Not able to kill the Eddie though, and we've got a Star Alliance call here from Dave. Garcia coming down, Kirby coming down. There's a Cloaking Dongle and our first Punctuate Equilibrium. Discarding an Igor and a Wild Spirit, and from Matze we see one of the auto cannons gone, that Subtle Chain. Dave says one down. And the Recklessness, also a decent one to hit there. Ooh, lots more creature protection here and another stealth mode. So Matze thought he was safe for maybe a turn, but no. Dave having a very big stealth, or sorry, Star Alliance turn there. Matze says 2 down. Both players counting down their opponent's threats. Alright, so we've got a Brobnar turn here. The Bramo not going to do quite as much damage at the moment. Does kill off one of the Eddies, get some damage on the Tabor. Drummer not going to let it get played a second time. Pretty brutal. And with the damage pip, going to be able to take out that Garcia. So lots of damage to the Star Alliance here. This Bramo has done so much work in these games already. But the Molina will make fighting a little bit tougher here. Dave going back into Star Alliance, still has the Kirby, so can do some stuff. Gets the Medic Ingram down with a ward. Kirby just playing the Quantum Finger Trap. Wall's going to be able to get back that Cloaking Dongle, which is really big to get that on the Ambassador, or the Arms Master. Does get to check too, so we'll see if this forces a Shadow's turn from Matze. Nope, he goes right back into Brobnar, just going to try and clear up this board. If he's got the second drum or not, he can do a little bit of bouncing and do some damage, especially with that Bramo. Actually, even with just this drum or not, he can do some damage with the Bramo. Plays Headhunter. We get a Reap out of the Bramo, and then Drummernaut's gonna fight into walls, so just hits the elusive there. Replays the Bramo, is gonna get a discard. And then I imagine we see the Gauntlet refight with the Drummernaut and replay the Bramo. Discards the Force Field, which is actually a pretty heavily pipped one there, so kind of an interesting one, but showing that he's probably not going into Star Alliance next turn, which is probably good news for Dave, except it means the Bad Penny is probably going to do some work. Oh, there's the second Drummernaut. That's pretty brutal. That one having an Amber Pip on it, so it does replay first Drummernaut, gets the extra damage. Now we're going to rule of 6 the Drummernauts. And then our last hit will probably be on the Bramo to take out both of these Star Alliance creatures. If you do this, see, I'd have to count how many times you can replay this damage pip Drummernaut. Does just return the Bramo here. I guess the first Drummernaut had already fought twice, so probably can't replay this too much. So clears everything except the Molina. Pretty rough there for Dave, but he does get first key. Matze is in check for key 1, but we do see a Logos turn here, which means that is probably not going to go through. Eddie number 1. Eddie number 2. There's a Daughter for some extra draw. And the Reassembling Automaton. So this is another one that we didn't see come down last game, but that can be so good with a Shark because you can just keep killing it. instead of having to kill your own line. Quantum Figure traps the Bad Penny to the inside just so it can't be protected by a taunt or anything, but we get a really fast Brobnar call here from Matze. Very nice too, because it does protect one of your flanks from the Bramo basically forever until you kill the rest of the board. So this bouncing won't do quite as much. We do see a Recklessness taking out Zenzi, Mustic, and Harmonia. Probably not the worst hits you want to see if you're Dave. But here comes the Bramo coming back down, going to kill off that daughter, do some damage to the Automata. But again, fighting into this with the Drummer Knots or anything is really tough because you got the Elusive and the Hazardous. And so instead, they're just going to reap. Replays the damage pip Drummer Knot, getting that on the Eddy. There goes the Bramo. Does kill the reassembling automata, but keeps it on this side, or maybe he's still moving it. Sometimes TCO is weird with when it shows that. Does keep it on this side, so we're going to try and take out the Molina instead this turn. Oh, interesting. Oh, you have to fight something with a gauntlet, I guess, so that makes sense to keep that somewhere where it's not elusive or hazardous. So you can do that fight successfully. I guess it doesn't matter because you still take 3 damage, but Headhunter gains 1, but importantly, the Automata is still alive on 1 health as the last creature for Dave, which means there's a chance, but we've also got 11 Amber now on Matt's side, and 4 Eddies already gone, along with a Kirby, 1 of our punks, 2 of our stealth modes. Also, though, discarding some interesting stuff off the Recklessness, too. Pretty decent mix of cards in here. But Dave's really got to deal with this Brobnar, otherwise it's just going to gain tons of Amber and keep bullying the board. Alright, Stealth Mode number 3 comes down. Here's a Helmsman Spears and Comm Officer Kirby. Problem is, there's not too much you can play here that's actually going to kill these off the Kirby. Ooh, unless you play the Punk. That could do some stuff. Just fine as the Tabor, though. So not quite what you maybe wanted to see, although that is a reshuffle with all 3 of the stealth modes in the discard, so it could be another stealth mode next turn, but that Brick Nasty is bad news. That's going to be lots of bursts here. All the star lines probably going to get punched off the board. Yep, there's Bramo fighting. Drummer not fighting there, probably could have just reaped, kept replaying the Bramo and then used the Gauntlet, but either way the Gauntlets will get you reaps once everything's off the board, so. He's got the damage on the Tabor, but you basically still have to kill the Tabor before you can get rid of the Automata. So this Bramo damage doesn't quite do it. You'll have to fight it once more. But with 2 gauntlets, that's not too much of a problem. Okay, Drummerknot comes back down. It's going to heal the Headhunter there. We still have 1 more gauntlet. Chooses not to heal the second Drummerknot. Maybe that was the 6th play. He might be counting these faster than I am. So it gets up to 12 Amber, and Dave is left again staring at this Brobnar board. Needs to find an answer. We do get some taxing here from the Eddy coming down, and there's the Neutron Shark. So you got to get rid of these Drummer Knots at this point. But it's Tau Vapors. Oh, that's brutal. Alright, and we go right back into Brobnar for Matze. Just gonna fight and reap out here. See if Dave draws into more Amber control with the Logos. But the problem is, with the Shark gone, the Logos isn't really dealing with the board at this point, so could be rough to get out of this. Plays the Recklessness there too. So we lose another stealth mode on Dave's side, but no Logos, so could have drawn into more of it, but we got a Star Alliance turn here, so might be the game. Yep, and there's the last of the Star Alliance coming down. Matze taking it 2-0. Based on my analysis, that was surprising, but I think that Brobnar board and then the Shark missing definitely is rough. That Bramo just doing so much work though, being able to keep getting bounced for the 2 damage pings on the side is just brutal for Dave's kind of game plan. Yeah, and this is one of the only like the second challenger win so far, so congrats to Matze. Very interesting one. I think there's a lot of things you can look at in that to kind of how that matchup plays up, but and VM is of course OP, and this isn't even a VM 25 build. I can't wait to see what kind of nonsense that set puts together. It's going to be insane. All right, but that wraps it up for this match. Thanks again to both of these players for joining for this challenger match. Matze, of course, getting the win and winning that Amber Skies deck for winning the challenger match. Pretty impressed, needs to cover this, right? We'll let them know. Let me grab the logs really quick and we will be done. All right, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Starting off our week 4 here with this challenger match. I think the next one, there's a game tomorrow. Okay, that is going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time for the final refrain. See you later.